£300,000 a week, performing songs like Leaning on a Lamppost, When I'm Cleaning Windows and Chinese Laundry Blues. George died 30 years ago this year, but he's enthusiastically remembered by the 500 members of the George Formby Society, among them George Harrison, Jimmy Nail and Pete Waterman. Pete's here with us, along with Stan Evans, who edits the Society's magazine, and Anthony Mason, a 16-year-old fan. Pete, why are you a fan of George Formby?
I think that he's always entertained me. He makes me smile. He's just, you know, he's what I suppose he's what I wanted to be. He always wins the girl at the end, you know.
Stan, is this typical of the members of the Society? Is that the reason they joined?
They love George. There's no doubt about it. They simply love George. There's something very, very magical about George. We can't understand what it is, but he's got it.
Is there a pattern to the members of the Society?
Not really, no. I mean, we've got one little boy there, little Michael Davis. He's 4.5 years of age. He plays the ukulele and sings George Formby songs. And then we've got them in their 80s.
So there's no pattern. What about, we think perhaps of George as being an entertainer for the north of Britain, the Midlands, and the working class hero. Is that a true picture?
No, he actually, his popularity is worldwide. And it's definitely across all, you know, all classes. I mean, Queen Mary was a massive fan. The present Queen was a fan. And, of course, Princess Margaret was one of his #1 fans. I mean, he regularly appeared at the palace singing songs uncensored. And don't forget the BBC tried to censor George. I mean, it was the King that got them to play When I'm Cleaning Windows, the unabridged version. You know, he said, you know, you can't clean these songs up. They are what they are, and they must stay that way.
Is he a kind of musical equivalent of a saucy postcard?
Yes, I suppose he is, really. But he never gets that risky. He's Benny Hill. I mean, Benny Hill with George Formby and the postcards, you know, of the fat ladies by the seaside. It's all part of Britain, isn't it, really? It's a glorification of our sort of quietness, of how conservative we really are, yet we're not really conservative at all when you see us from the outside. And George really epitomises that.
How good a musician was he?
Oh, sensational. Absolutely sensational. I mean, people don't quite understand exactly how technical George was. We have got great players in the Society, and nobody can play like George. Some of his triplets, his syncopation and his timing is extraordinary, just extraordinary. And you know, like George Harrison and myself play guitars. He's so far ahead of us. We can't even get anywhere near the way he plays. Just the speed that he flicks his wrists is just extraordinary.
That's what made him unique.
Absolutely unique.
Would he have got as far without the influence of his wife, who really was his manager, wasn't she?
Beryl today would have probably been one of the world's top managers. I mean, she was absolutely sensational. Hard-nosed, business-minded, knew exactly who George appealed to and made sure that he always played to audiences that loved him, and she knew how to cut a good bargain. I mean, George Formby, she'd make him £1,000 a night when that was a king's ransom. And she would battle with any, you know, theatre manager, and if he didn't get his £1,000 cash, he didn't perform.
Anthony, you're also a fan of George Formby. You've been a fan since you were very tiny.
Oh, yes, since I was 4 years old, yeah.
So at 4 years old, did you decide to start to play the ukulele?
Well, not to play. I was given a ukulele for birthday, from birthday, but I didn't sort of play it properly until I was 9 years old, just about.
You've got a very special one here, Stan. Would you like to explain what this is?
Yes, this is one of the exhibits. At the moment, we've got an exhibition running at the Warrington Museum. And it's been running for 3 months, but we've had to extend it for a further 5 weeks. It finishes now September the 3rd. And it has attracted people from all over the country and various parts of the world. Now, in it, we've got quite a lot of George Formby's ukuleles. This is the very, very first ukulele banjo he ever played on film. And that was in 1935, a film called Off the Dole. And at the end of the song, he says, "It is a good ukulele."
And so it is a good ukulele.
It is a good ukulele, that's right.
What's the difference between a banjo and a ukulele?
Well, actually, a ukulele banjo is a bit of a crossbred. That part is a ukulele, and that part is a banjo to give it more volume, which was ideal for George.
The ukulele is the Hawaiian instrument that you see in the old Elvis Presley films. It's the little wooden, you know, it's a very soft sound, easy to play, very soft. So they had to add the banjo body to get volume. And this is a loud instrument.
Is that what is the typical sound for George Formby, do you think?
It's a
I
happy
mean,
sound.
if you think about the war years, when George went to entertain the troops, I mean, he would stand on the front line within a mile of a full battle raging and sing with no microphones, and the troops would hear him. 2,000 troops at once would hear him, and there's no trouble. You can hear this. I mean, you could hear it down the bottom of the park if you started playing it.
How big an influence has he had on modern music, Pete?
Huge, because without a doubt, the Beatles were influenced by George Formby. Probably not knowingly, but certainly Paul McCartney, most of the McCartney melodies are very Formby-ish, particularly things like When I'm 64, and there's a lot of those things. I think they would never admit to it at that time when they were the Beatles, but they certainly do now, that they were, you know, they were brought up with Formby songs. And it's, you know, there's a little, I remember sitting Kylie Minogue down in my house, and I just have a video of all the George Formby songs, and we were watching it, and, you know, she said, these are Beatles songs. And because she'd obviously never heard of George Formby.
But you have, Anthony, and Formby really, I suppose, inspired you to play, and you're going to play for us now,
That's
I
right,
believe.
yeah.
What's the song?
When I'm cleaning windows.
We look forward to it.
Now I go window cleaning to earn an honest bob. For a nosy Parker, it's an interesting job. Now it's a job that just suits me. A window cleaner you will be if you can see what I can see. When I'm cleaning windows, honeymooning couples too. You should see them bill and cue. You'd be surprised at what they do. When I'm cleaning windows, in my profession I'll work hard, but I'll never stop. I'll climb this blinking ladder till I get right to the top. Pyjamas lying side by side, ladies' 90s I have spied. I've often seen what goes inside when I'm cleaning windows. Now there's a famous talky queen, she looks a flapper on the screen. She's more like 80 than 18. When I'm cleaning windows, she pulls her hair all down behind, then pulls down her never mind, and after that pulls down the blind. When I'm cleaning windows,